Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are not going to be continuing with the normal intro, at least just for this video. I kind of want this to be a little bit more of a serious video with a serious topic, and I figured that the editing style should kind of replicate that, if you will. So in case you guys are not familiar with the recent tragedy in the Ninjago community, I'm not so sure how anyone could be not familiar with it at this point, but Kirby Morrow, the voice actor of Cole on Ninjago, has unfortunately passed away. This occurred last week, and there hasn't really been, I guess, that much positivity in the community since. Obviously, the new set images just came out, and for a lot of us, it is kind of hard to, I guess, promote our excitement towards that because we're still, I guess, thinking about this loss here that all of us are experiencing. So in today's video, like I said, we're going to be answering, or at least trying to answer, some of the more difficult questions naturally regarding his passing. I made a few videos talking about just him and remembering his career and, just recognizing him as a person. Obviously, a lot of us on our social media have been posting tributes as well to him and little posts dedicated to him and, in his memory. So overall, the community has done a great job at, coming together and sharing a lot of good memories that we have of Kirby Morrow, and I guess celebrating his career, especially in Ninjago. Especially in this community, we were kind of focusing on Cole. Obviously, there are several other things that he's done, but as I've said, there are a few difficult questions that still need to be answered. Now, I've given it a little bit of thought as to when I can, talk about this kind of stuff. I've seen a lot of people ask me what my thoughts are, and I was kind of putting it off for the longest time. I took the weekend to kind of relax a little bit and get my sanity back and at least try to, I guess, find some type of happiness and some type of content. But I really haven't found much of anything. And I really don't feel like a lot of you guys have either. I know several people are still hurting, and it's natural to feel that way. But a lot of you guys are naturally curious as well. And I myself have a few theories regarding what exactly could happen to the character of Cole. So I figured I'd take this opportunity to kind of, I guess, talk about a few points that could potentially, I guess, show what Cole might be up to in the future of Ninjago. So we're going to take the opportunity in this video to go ahead and answer those questions. If you guys are not comfortable with, I guess, hearing this kind of stuff, I do not blame you at all. This is just for the people that are curious, but also still kind of sad. But if this makes you, upset in any way, I understand. There's the official warning right there. You can feel free to come back after, but if this makes you upset listening to this, I thoroughly understand. But for those of you guys that are still here, let's go ahead and talk about the possibilities. So the first option that we're going to be talking about is the possibility of Cole exiting the show. Now, there are a few ways that they can go about this. For one, they could go ahead and, of course, kill him off, which has been alluded to earlier, but that would most likely be in very poor taste at this current point in time, so I'm not so sure Ninjago would do that. However, Ninjago has alluded to it before, and that's just a fact. The fact of the matter is Ninjago has set up Cole's death before in the show, and it's been something that they've kind of toyed with, and this is 100% serious, 100% real. This is something that Ninjago has done. There was no way that they could have known what would happen, so no one's at fault here. It's just, the fact of the matter. Writing of the show, this is what they did. They kind of teased it in season 5 with the reflections in the first Spinjitzu Master's tomb, and they kind of played with it again in March of the Oni. But there was always just kind of this overlaying emotion or this overlaying thought that eventually Cole would be killed off. And people think that maybe that's a way that the show could go to, kind of depart the character of Cole. Another option for a less, I guess, emotional departure would just have him leave or go off on a different mission on his own and just have him exit the show in that way. That could also work, it would be a way of taking him out of the show without, killing him off, which might be a little insensitive, but just overall, I don't really feel like him exiting the show is a realistic idea. The more realistic option for me, and I know a lot of you guys are probably not going to like this, but honestly, the most realistic option, and honestly the one that I think they're going to go with, is just recasting. I know that's something that is very controversial at the moment, especially with all the news that's been going on. And obviously, due to the recent tragedy, a lot of people are remembering Kirby Morrow for what he did for Ninjago and what he did in his career, and he was a very talented voice actor. But there are also several other really talented voice actors as well that they could bring in as a substitution. And I honestly feel like that's the route that they will go. I feel like Lego, the overlaying company Lego, would want Cole to still be in the sets and still be in the show. And the best way to go ahead and keep Cole in the show would be to recast. Recasting is not something that Ninjago is a stranger to. The most famous example would have to be Lloyd. Lloyd's voice actor was recast, but that was simply due to a character change. It wasn't like a real life circumstance like this one would be. But honestly, recasting would probably be the way that they would go. I don't want them to recast. I would rather Cole exit the show in a peaceful manner, but it's not up to me and it's not up to us. It's up to, I guess, the higher groups. And if they still want Cole in the show, then Cole's still going to be in the show. And that's just, again, the sad fact of the matter. I keep on saying that, but that's just what it is. This is how it works. Clearly in, film production and TV production, there are tragedies that happen a lot, and a lot of them are very heartbreaking and very sad. But production usually goes on, and that's just the sad truth of things. Production for Ninjago most likely will continue, and Cole will most likely be recast. As to who they would get, I don't know. I feel like it's way too early to be discussing that, but I know a lot of us are still heartbroken over Kirby Morrow's passing, and to have someone else come in and voice Cole, now seems like it would be, unjust or not right. But honestly, this might not happen for a really long time. Season 14 and 15 are well into development at this point, and while I'm not sure how far into development they got, especially in terms of recording lines, it's very, very likely that season 14 and even season 15 would still be covered. Now, I'm not sure if they have every line from Kirby Morrow recorded for Cole for both of those seasons, but honestly, I do feel like season 14 was well enough into production that they could go ahead and keep him as Cole for one final season. Either that, or they'll have someone else come in season 14 and redub all of the lines that Kirby Morrow made just so that they could establish the new voice actor for Cole. I'm not sure what they would do. I don't work on Ninjago. I don't work with the show. I'm not part of production, but I feel like recasting is the most likely option. And again, he might have recorded all the way up to season 15. We don't know. We do know that they were recording some other voice actors that are returning from older seasons that will play characters in future seasons, so we don't really know if recording had gotten that far. We just don't know. It's not something that we can, just say off the top of our heads that we know for a fact. It's just not something that we know. But I do honestly feel like recasting is the most likely option. I know that's not going to sit well with a lot of Ninjago fans. It's certainly not going to sit well for me. But at the end of the day, what are they going to do? I've seen a couple of people suggest that maybe Ninjago should end because of this. Honestly, that's not really an option either. Ninjago ending would be quite, poetic, to end with the passing of one of the voice actors and one of the characters, really, but I honestly don't feel like Ninjago is going to be ending, especially not after, all the success that they've had in previous years, and that's just business talking. That's just Lego, just promoting their brand. I doubt that this is going to cause Ninjago to end. For those of you guys concerned over Ninjago's ending, this probably won't do anything for Ninjago's ending, as much as that is, horrible to say. That's just what it is, and I feel like that needs to be explained in some way. Ninjago most likely will not be ending anytime soon, and I'm not sure if this will, cause that to slow down or shift or anything like that. Again, I'm not part of production. I don't know a whole lot about this, but this is just my own thoughts on this. I honestly don't think this will halt anything for Ninjago, and I feel like the most likely option out of everything is that they would just simply recast Cole. That's pretty much the simplest option right now at the moment, but I'm not sure when that would happen, and I'm not sure who they would get to replace Kirby Morrow. Either way, no matter who they get, it's going to be very jarring, and it's not really something that I want to imagine at the moment. I don't really want to imagine someone else other than Kirby Morrow playing Cole. That's just not something that is good, but it is something that we need to discuss. Overall, this video was just kind of to discuss the hard questions, discuss things that a lot of people have questions about, and I've given it a little bit of time. Again, this video is being recorded on Sunday, uploaded on Monday, so obviously I've given it some thought, given it some time, given it the weekend for me to think, and the conclusion that I've come to, in regards to the two options that we have here, Cole exiting the show in some way or Cole being recasted, they're probably going to recast Cole, and that's pretty much my final stance on that. As to who they're going to get, I don't know. That's pretty much up in the air at this point. I don't really feel like that's something that's being considered right now, and I don't feel like that's something that we should consider either necessarily. Instead of trying to find a replacement at the moment, why don't we just honor Kirby Morrow just a little bit longer and see where it goes? Again, this whole situation is very heartbreaking and very sad. I myself have been very emotional over the weekend. I'd be lying if I said that these thoughts never crossed my mind, and I'm willing to bet that it's crossed a lot of your guys' minds too. No matter how, I guess, heartbreaking this is, or no matter how depressing this may seem, this is something that is just fact. This is something that is consistent with media, movies, and TV shows, so it's something that needs to be considered, and I hope you guys understand, and I hope you guys understand why I'm talking about this now. Overall, I just hope that I didn't offend anybody. I hope I didn't, jump the gun too quick in saying anything, but, that's just it. That's pretty much just the facts. This is pretty much what happens, and recasting, in my opinion, is probably the most likely option, as heartbreaking as that is. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Feel free to list in the comments what you think is going to go on. Honestly, it's going to be difficult. And if you guys don't want to talk about it, perfectly understandable. I understand 100%. I just want to get my thoughts out there and hopefully cross paths with you guys and see what the community is thinking of. So that's going to do it for this one, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.